In July of 1915, a year after World War I began, a British steamer named the SS Iberian was torpedoed and sank by one of the German submarines named U-28. The merchant steamer sank with its bow aiming upwards, and another large explosion could be heard around 25 seconds after the SS Iberian had sunk. After the explosion, debris could be seen flying up, and the commander of the U-28, Georg-Günther von Forstner, and some of the crew on board noted that along with the debris was a large aquatic sea creature resembling a crocodile. In his own words, translated from German, von Forstner wrote, "The description of an animal estimated at 20 meters in length, seen by me and some of the crew of the submarine U-28 on the 30th of July 1915 in the Atlantic Ocean. It was sighted on the starboard side, about 60 nautical miles south of Fastnet Rock, off the southwest corner of Ireland, after the sinking of the British steamer Iberian. This animal was hurled some 20 or 30 meters into the air by an underwater explosion about 25 seconds after the sinking of that vessel, thrown full length from the water. It is possible that this was caused by the detonation of an explosive device on board, the existence of which we assumed was concealed in the ship's papers, or from a small boiler explosion. This explosion certainly could have been the result of a detonation, but in my opinion, only the bursting of the spaces deep inside the ship could have produced such air pressure. The animal was about 20 meters long and crocodile-like in shape, with pairs of strong front and hind legs, adapted for swimming, and a long head that tapered towards the nose. Based on the descriptions of von Forstner, some theorize that the sea creature encountered could be a surviving specimen of mosasaurs or pliosaurs, which are extinct large marine reptiles, and both have the features of a giant crocodile-like creature as described by von Forstner. However, there are a few issues with the story told by von Forstner. At the time, every U-boat kept a record of their attacks in what is essentially a war diary, and this diary of U-28 had survived and had detailed comments on the sinking of Iberian. Despite the elaborative details on how the Iberian sank and the number of people that had survived the attack to flee in lifeboats, there's no mention of this large crocodile-like sea creature anywhere. This isn't concrete evidence against what von Forstner saw, as he may have thought that wartime may not be an ideal time to bring it up, and he may have feared ridicule. It is worth mentioning, however, that of the 61 people who had survived the attack from the U-28, none of them had mentioned anything about this creature either, despite many being interviewed by the press. In conclusion, it is likely that von Forstner had mistook some wreckage for a sea monster, or the story of a 20-meter crocodile leaping out the water had been completely made up by him for a sensational story, especially when it was brought to light at a time when the Loch Ness Monster and other large unidentified sea creatures were talked about a lot in the news. Despite this, a large part of the ocean remains undiscovered, and maybe, just maybe, a large crocodile-like creature, something to the effect of what von Forstner described, really does roam down there.